Balls. Woo! Nice job, nice job.
That's pretty awesome.
I mean, we're getting better and better. Listeners, I'm so happy that you get to experience that every week. So,
if you go back and listen to the old episodes, the first 30 seconds are probably all you need just to catch those jingles.
If I ever had the energy, if I ever had an intern, I'd be like, go take these and take the first 30 seconds of every episode. Which
that would be super awesome.
Welcome back to another episode of the Kilted Balls podcast. Woo!
Welcome back.
Episode 230, I believe.
That's pretty awesome.
Man, we're old. 230 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Old man.
Who would have thought?
I don't think either of us.
Yeah, I didn't give it that much thought.
We did not give it that much thought. And we are still kicking. We are still going. So
the great thing is, oh, I'm sorry. Did you have something to say?
Nope,
I just wanted to tie something. The great thing is that each week it's something we want to do.
Yeah.
Like we choose to do so it's not like, oh, we said we'd do it for this long, or we said we just were like, let's do it, and that's something we talk about, just doing the thing anyways. Mm-hmm. But I still enjoy it. I don't know if you like it, but
yeah.
Go ahead.
Like today, I was resisting. No, it ties right in because today I had all these questions for you, and I was like, I should write these down because I have all these questions, and I'm gonna forget them by the time we record, and I really just want to ask them while I record. So
there you go.
It was your day off today. I did ask that question. I'm like, hey, is it your day off? And how's it been going? Did you sell a car?
I sold a car and delivered a car. Woo, so yes.
Yay!
Yep. And actually, it's funny. I think I talked about it last week. It was my B-back who I told my coworker that I wouldn't be surprised if that guy came back.
Nice. And he did.
So he did. It was a different car, of course. He was kind of stretched, and he really wanted an extended warranty, so it put him over where he was comfortable with.
Yes.
And he just came out. He's like, I can't do it. The extended warranty's too much. And I shook his hand and I said, hey, don't, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
And we walked out and talked, and then, later I thanked him for coming in. I said, have a great night. He said, you too. And I knew Monday's his D&D night. And I said, well, I know you're going to have an awesome night. You're playing D&D tonight. Mm-hmm. So he reached back out Sunday and asked, he's like, do you have anything open, for tomorrow? I was like, yeah, come on in. So he came in. He was on the Mustang. Anyone who saw the short on the 2020 Mustang that I did. So yeah, it was awesome.
What was he looking at before? We talked a lot of D&D. An M3, so super nice BMW. Yeah, but the Mustang's way cooler.
Yeah, it was $5,000 less in domestic, so the parts and everything are going to be less for that extended warranty.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm glad it worked out. It was awesome. So yeah, super happy for him.
Yeah, I'm happy for you. First sale, did everybody cheer you? Give you high fives?
Yeah, lots of people were cheering and stuff, so it was awesome.
Nice.
I was like, it's nothing.
You're like, I remember my first sale.
So one kind of, not surprise, but just one thing that's different from when I sold cars way back when. Obviously, I'm a way different person now than I am then. But people research more, and they don't necessarily, whenever I've bought a car, I've researched, and as soon as I go to the lot, I know what I want, and I just go buy it.
Yes.
I don't go back again and again. And some of the guys were saying that, some of these people you'll talk to 2-3 times, they'll come in and look and decide. Mm-hmm. And so it takes a little bit more time than I was picturing. There's going to be people who are coming to buy that day, yes. Yeah. But I have people really kind of in a pipeline that I've been talking to, and we're kind of moving along the process. Nice. So it's interesting.
Yeah, that is. And that's awesome. Yay. Super exciting when you get that first one. And you've started moving some sheets, so that's good too. So everything seems to be going well.
Yep. Mm-hmm. we didn't talk about it last week, but I had the worst week ever on the website.
Nice.
So I had been debating on marking my sheets down for clearance, just because it's, I decided it was time. We've talked about that. So I did, and it's been crazy. Like that's all I did all weekend. I mean, we had like a little family time and stuff, and I worked Saturday. But if I wasn't working, I was printing and packaging orders, and I went to bed at 2 a.m. Sunday night to get like the last done and the van loaded, and Gina delivered on Monday, thankfully.
Man.
So,
and it's picking right back up, so that's good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yay! That's all good stuff. So, what is your day like when you're like doing this gig? So most of us, I'm assuming most of us, don't know like what car dealer like people do, right? Like everybody knows their own gig.
Yeah.
But nobody knows like anybody else's gig, right? Like they're just like, what do you do all day? Right?
Yeah. So this has been interesting. Actually, this is funny because I was talking about this with a couple people because I take the boys to school in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm not every day. So I'm up late Thursdays. So Fridays I don't get up at 5 a.m. I get up at 6 because that's the latest I can get up and get the boys to school. And on Saturdays I get up at 6 because I don't have to leave till later because I don't have to drive 40 minutes to get the boys to school first.
Right.
So like most days I wake up at 5, get a workout in, shower, get ready, leave the house by 6:45. Drop the boys off at school by 7:30, then work by 8:30. So I like to get to work like 15 minutes early. Mm-hmm. And they were all like, "Oh man, you're driving so much in the car." And I'm like, "You guys, have you never heard Zig Ziglar talk about Automobile University? Like I'm getting in an hour and a half of training just by listening to salespeople on my way in, or a book, or whatever, before I even start my day." So that dealership, we get leads from the phones, and obviously, if anyone, this is one where it's free for all outside. It's not like you take your turn, which some dealerships are like that. Like, oh, Billy Bob's next, then you. So this is a free for all. But I'm getting more comfortable now to where I'm not willing to wait for someone to call on the phone, or willing to wait for someone to walk in the lot for my future and for my paycheck. Yeah. So, and I don't know if you've noticed, so I've been trying to post at least 3 or 4 times on, I try to at least get one on the Kilted Ball, something relevant for kind of the things we talk about. And then the others on everything, on my TikTok, on, our TikTok, on my Facebook, on Twitter, all that stuff, to where I'm becoming that guy.
Right.
So I'm going to start doing some other, like, not review, but like kind of going over things and talking about the new product lines that I have as far as the Volkswagen and the Volvo, to be that guy. So yeah, just doing those things. And I've been listening to a few different people who do a lot of like Facebook ads, Google ads, Craigslist, like stuff like that, and things that they do and ideas that they have, because I would rather someone call up and ask for me. So prime example, a friend of mine, my old DM, I've known him. When did I start playing D&D? After when 5e came out, basically is when I started playing, shortly thereafter. So I played with him for many, many years before I joined our Wednesday group. And he saw my video and he went to the website, saw something he liked, and he just sent in an inquiry. I just happened to get it. Like, is the inquiry could go to anybody. It didn't say Jeremy on there or anything. Oh, wow. I just happened to get it. I saw his name. I looked up his number. It was a different number. I was like, well, maybe he got a different phone or something. Yeah. So I called that number, and then I also sent him a message through Messenger, like, hey, you're lucky you got me, just messing with him. So, things like that. Like, I don't want those mistakes to happen, because he could have easily ended up going to somebody else who didn't know him. Right. Whether he's going to get something or not, I don't know. He's a good friend, and he's like, this is an interest. You're my friend. I've always wanted a truck. I don't know if this can work or not. And I was like, let's figure it out. Like, when you get a chance, come up, drive it, and we can go from there. So those are things that like I want to do for myself. That's, I mean, obviously going to help the dealership, but I'm not like a lot of the guys, they'll play on their phones, like they'll do their stuff and that's fine. Like if that's what they want to do, like go for it. Like you're making what you want to make and you're happy with that.
Yes, exactly.
Like I'm there to set records. I met the guy who has the record. I shook his hand and I pointed my manager. I'm like, okay, so this is the guy I'm chasing. He sold 35 cars in 1 month.
Oh, nice.
I was like, this, okay, that's something to shoot for.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they want you to get 10 a month, right?
Yeah, 10 a month is the minimum to where you get to keep your draw. So I get paid every week. I get a draw every week. And then at the end of the month, if you don't sell 10, you have to pay back the draw out of your commissions, and then you get your commission check. If you sell over 10, you get to keep that draw and you get all your commissions.
Okay.
And then if it's 14, you get an extra $100 on top of the draw and a higher percentage, you know, and then there's like different numbers where your percentage goes up. So he's from I had heard about him before I met him. So like just super hardcore guy. He'd go up there on Sundays. He'd just hang out. He'd pass out his card and stuff on Sundays when they were closed. I
forgot they're closed on Sundays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the top racquetball player in North Carolina for many years, I guess. So he's got that competitive personality.
Yeah.
To where, you know, if someone, I mean, that's maybe not world-class athlete, but you know, if you're ranked in your state as an adult in something, then you've got some focus and some drive. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. But it means that you're selling, 8 cars, 9 cars a week, right? Like 35 cars, you're selling more than a car a day. But you guys have Sundays off, so he's got to be doing a little bit more than a car a day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if he wasn't taking his day off, and possibly not. So working 5 days a week.
Yeah, he must have not been taking the day off.
Probably not. I can't imagine. If he's up there on Sundays, I can't imagine he's taking his day off.
No. So he just had one of those months where he was just like, I'm going. That's crazy.
But it's awesome. I mean, I say, you know, one of the guys who hired me, he's like a finance manager. And he's like, so what's your goal this month? And I said, well, 10. Like, you know, even though I don't have to do that for my pay plan because I'm new. And I was like, yeah. But I said my intention is to sell a car every day.
Right.
And it's funny because if you think about it, like if you say I'm going to sell a car every day, that sounds daunting, but really it's to sell one car a day, and like people sell one car a day all the time.
Right.
I sold one car on Monday, so you know I may not, and especially because I'm still learning, I'm still doing a lot of stuff, but I don't beat myself up if I don't get it. If I only sell 9 the first month, they're not expecting me to sell anything.
Right.
I don't even have to sell one until after the 15th. They think, you know, my pay plan is I have between the 15th of May and the 15th of June to sell 6.
Okay.
So, you know, it's just for how I started. So, so you asked about my day. So what I've been doing, so I get there, there's usually a meeting in the morning. I check my leads. I call, I send a video like of myself and of the vehicle. I send an email, and then I'll try to call again. Like if I don't reach them during any of those things, I'll try again like an hour later. Because sometimes people answer, sometimes they don't. I then follow it up on any older leads to make sure, like anyone I've been talking to, if I have any new information or have anything else. People I haven't gotten a hold of, I try to reach out to them. And I just started. I have a master class, which is the thing that I talked about that people don't like to do, but there's sales there. So there's a whole algorithm set up of people who have previously bought cars, like how old the car is, how many payments they have. Like there's all these little calculations in there, and then they have a final number that's up to 100 on how, according to the algorithm, how likely they are to buy.
Oh, nice.
So Friday I just got on that, so I started calling those people. So yeah, just introducing myself and finding out how they like their vehicle and just start taking those steps.
Nice.
You know, and if they're ready, like they've bought from us before, like, oh yeah, you might as well come back in. I'll take care of you. So yeah, I'll get out. Like if I'm getting sleepy watching videos, because I'm still doing that training as well. I'll get out. I'll walk the lot. I'll record another video, or I'll pick a car and record a video. I'll talk about some feature that I've learned, something like that. So yeah,
does anybody show up during the day that you talk to?
Yeah, it's random.
So you walk the lot, and maybe there's somebody out there, maybe not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happened yesterday. I was trying to find the truck for my friend, and someone was out there. So I started talking to them, and they're, I would say, a very warm lead.
Mm-hmm.
So they had some things to do, and they're like, okay, we're in the process of fixing our car, but that's the car we want to trade in. And I was like, yeah, cool. And they said, well, we're trying to make it back tonight. If not, it's going to be Friday. So I had my sale anyways. That was after them. So I didn't really reach out to them till today. And I just reached out, said hi, and said, okay, so I'll see you on Friday.
Nice. And then what time does your day end?
7.
Woo.
So 8:30 to 7.
So it's not a 12-hour day, but it's way
it's
more
not quite
than
half
an 8-hour day.
Yeah. Well, I take that back. Mondays are short. Mondays, because I have Tuesday off. So the day before you have off is 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
But the other days are all 8:30 to 7, and then Saturday is 8:30 to 6.
And how long does it take you to get home?
Yeah, about 40 minutes.
So you're getting home like around 8-ish each night.
Mm-hmm.
And waking up at 5 a.m.? Man, you'd be crazy. 5 a.m. That's some crazy
Well,
stuff.
it works out because, tonight, I mean, if I work tonight, I'd be ready, basically in time to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, I can eat and mess around before D&D starts, and on Thursdays before games. And then the other nights, I just, I hang out with Gina and the family.
Yeah.
Which works out.
Yeah. That seems like not enough sleep on Wednesdays and Thursday nights.
Thursday night, although Friday I was actually, the great thing about giving up caffeine is that when I have it, it's great, because Friday I was sleepy on Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we stopped 5 minutes early, I was sleep. Oh, I take that back. I was sleepy Friday. I did have coffee then too, but I had coffee after staying up until 2 a.m. Although I switched my alarm to 6, so I got 4 hours of sleep.
Nice.
I just had a triple shot that morning, and I went all day. I didn't even get sleepy.
Nice.
So it's pretty awesome. How about your weekend? It looks like you had an awesome time at your mom's party.
Yeah, it was a pretty busy weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, we thought we were gonna have to go out Friday. My daughter, who was graduating from college, was like, I want you to go out with my friends' parents and stuff. And we're like, well, that's weird, but if that's what you want us to do, we'll go out. Like bar hopping, not like go out to dinner. Like,
oh yeah.
She's like, we'll go to like Rick's and Land Sharks and whatever. And
like, I think my picture's still up there.
I know. I'm like, that sounds not like a good time. But then she was like, oh, something came up. They can't do it, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, good. I was hoping they would bail.
Because I didn't want to be that guy.
Because I wasn't going to bail. I can still do it. So then we hung out, and then she graduated from Michigan State.
That's awesome.
On Saturday, so that was fun. Natural science, where I graduated, so that was kind of fun to watch. And then, my mom turned 90. How about that?
That's super awesome.
And then a whole bunch of people saw her online, because I posted a picture online of her turning 90, and she doesn't listen to this, but if she did, they were like, oh my gosh, she looks so good. That's not how I would expect a 90-year-old to look. And I'm like, yeah, she's tough. She's a tough lady. I'm sitting on her lap there. That's not
yeah, you're not pretending.
She's hardcore.
That's awesome. I know. That would have been a great weekend to be able to make it up there.
Yeah, I know. You missed everything.
And then everything on Sunday.
Yep, and then Cal had his first communion Sunday, and he was well behaved enough that the deacons after Mass, they were like, man, we're so disappointed. We thought that he'd be dancing and jiving. I'm like, yeah. I go, what they don't know is I had told him I was going to put a shot collar on him instead of a tie. So he was being pretty good. He did not want the shot collar. My wife's like, that might be abuse. I'm like, is it though? I don't know if it is. It's probably
like I thought it was on vibrate.
I think it's only abuse if you use it, right? Like, you know.
That makes sense.
And only if you use it multiple times. I think it can't be abuse if it's just once.
I put a shot collar on my neck so I could see what it was like.
Yeah, how was it?
Fun. Yeah, not exciting.
That was not good?
No.
Yeah. Somebody asked me once, they're like, have you ever tried it to see it? I'm like, no. They're like, don't you want to know what your dog feels? I'm like, no, I don't eat poop either. Like, I don't care.
We're at different levels.
We're like in a different realm, right? I'm like, I know what electric shocks feel like. I know what vibrations feel like. I don't need to put it on to know what they're going through. Like, we have totally different nerve structures. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense.
So your Sunday or your Saturday sounded more exciting than mine was. Actually, yeah, Sunday. So we woke up Sunday. The dogs were both acting a little funny. It stormed, so sometimes they get like that.
Yeah.
And Peppa was shaking a little bit, so we're just like, oh, that's weird. We'll watch her. And she was like, calm down. So we were cooking breakfast and everything, and just sat down to eat. And she started shaking a ton, and she had gotten into the boys' garbage, and like, who knows what she ate. And so we're like, well, you know, we have to take her to the vet. So Gina's like, her and Ollie went to the vet. Morgan and I hung out, and she was at the vet almost 10 hours. And it was like over 8 before they were sitting in the room. You know, the hard bench in the vet office and the brick wall. They were in there for like 8 hours before someone came in and saw them.
I don't even understand why.
They were, because it was Sunday. It was an emergency vet. They were packed. The parking lot was full. So yeah, it was pretty wild. And then they're like, well, we'd like to keep her for observation overnight. And they're like, we want to give her these shots, which were like $300 a piece. Gina's like, well, how many shots? Well, it could be 1, it could be 10. We don't know. And it was like over $2,000 just to keep her there overnight. And we're like, she's like, we love our dog a lot, but do we have another option? like, because before she left, I was like, listen, Gina, like, you need to have in mind, like, that's the part that sucks. Like, we all love our animals.
Yeah.
And there's a point to where it's like, and that happened with me and with Echo. Like, I was in a different situation where I never looked at what I spent. I know it was well over 5 figures.
Yeah.
And he was alive for 6 more months, and half of that, it was arguable if it was great life, honestly.
Right. Yes.
Looking back at the situation.
Yes.
But, you know, and I was like, you need to have a number in your head where it's like, this is sad, but these are the choices we have to make.
Right.
So, yeah, they ended up giving us some pills that were kind of like the shots, not as good, and she brought her home so we could watch her. And she seems fine. She probably just ate something nasty and just had like really bad, because they're like, those shivers could turn into seizures, because like she was shivering, like she was shaking nonstop.
Yeah.
But Morgan and I had fun. Morgan's like, oh, we never get to hang out. So yeah, we hung out here. We played games. We went to the park.
See, so you guys had a great time. The vets kind of made a mistake, because if I'm waiting 8 hours and then you come in, I'm like, listen, I came here because I thought my dog was dying in the next hour. That's why it would be an emergency drive. That's why I'm coming into the emergency vet. I thought the dog would be dead in an hour. It's been 8 hours. If it's going to die, it was going to be dead already. So, yeah, I'm not worried anymore. In fact, I probably would have bailed after 4 or 5 hours, honestly.
She was asking me. I was like, I would be right there if I was going to leave or not. I said, if you leave right now and this happens again tomorrow, are you prepared to go to the vet tomorrow? And I'll be at work.
Right.
So she stayed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like she was just getting ready to leave and they came in. She was like just reaching that point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hard pass.
But yeah, you're right, because if you're going there, you're not expecting good things right away. Like you're freaking out.
You're freaking out, and you're like, my dog's gonna die. I need you to save my dog. And they're like, okay, well, we'll talk to you in a few hours.
Yeah.
If you're gonna talk to me in a few hours, I'll just go home. Like, I'll watch it myself for a few hours because clearly you're not doing anything for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess there was like some sort of crazy surgery or something. They didn't go into details, but they had just said like, you know, stuff.
Well,
stuff
they weren't worried. Like, that's the thing. They weren't worried. If you were worried my dog was going to die, you'd be doing something right now. So you're clearly not worried my dog's going to die. And I'm not worried my dog's going to die now because you weren't worried. So, yeah, we don't even need a visit anymore. I'll see ya. You don't even get your $300 for an emergency vet visit. Like, peace out. Yeah, we have a similar thing right now, and it's not about the money, but it is. But our dog tore their ACL, and like after they tore it, like we took him into the vet, and they're like, "Here's your options," and you know, we said it to our girls, and like one of our girls was like, "So when are you doing the surgery?" And I'm like, "I don't know if we're gonna do the surgery," and they're like, "Well, just because it's that much money," and I'm like, no, like I don't care about the money necessarily. What I care about is which surgery would be the correct surgery because there's lots of different. I go, and second, the dog can't walk for 3 months after the surgery, and it's like an 18-month-old dog who loves to run.
Yeah.
I'm like, so, like they have to be kept in a playpen in the house.
Yeah.
So they don't run, and you have to keep them on a leash so they don't run. Like when they're outside. And they're like, right? And I'm like, so 2 things. First off, that's not the life she wants for 3 months. So if I don't have to put her through that, I'm not putting her through that. And I go, second, none of your asses are going to be home. Like, this is me doing it all. I go, so I'm paying for it. I'm the one who's going to be the caregiver. And I'm the one who's going to have to make sure she doesn't run. None of the rest of you.
And I'm not willing to do that.
And I go, and I've got to decide if I'm willing to to do that. And I go, when she could just keep on going. Like, like
I mean, her football career's over.
Her football career's over. I said that. I'm like, you know, she's never, like, she's probably never going to play Ultimate again. Like, it's probably done. I'm like, I'm like, if I tore my ACL, I might not get surgery now. Like, I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know if I need it repaired now. Like, okay, I guess I just won't do that activity anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's like when we got Shadow fixed, they're like, okay, these drugs are going to knock her out. She's not going to do anything for a couple days while she heals. And she was more wild than normal. Like, whatever we're giving her is not working. And some dogs you can keep calm. There are other dogs you cannot keep calm.
No.
And yours would be one. Shadow was one. Just like, I hope she's okay.
Yeah. Well, and like it literally hasn't slowed her down. Now, if she goes all day running, like she will, she'll run all day, and if you let her, like that night she'll start limping.
Yeah.
And so we give her a pain pill, and she's like, thanks. And then she's all good again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, she really likes to run. So I'm like,
which was kind of like Ultimate anyways, and we were a lot younger then.
Yes. So much like that. Well,
that's hilarious.
I'm just like, I'm like, why not just cut the leg off? Like, dogs go around on 3 legs all the time.
If you're going to do that, you might as well just cut it off.
Like, it costs a lot less to just cut the leg off. It's still expensive, but, you know.
It's hilarious.
The surgery is, like, crazy. Like, there's one of the surgeries, they, like, shave the top of the bones so they fit together better. Then they, like, drill holes and put cables in them. I'm like, it's like a huge long healing process. I'm like, this is crazy. And they're like, or we could just like do this one. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just do that one? Well, sometimes it doesn't work. I'm like, what about the other one? Yep, sometimes it doesn't work. I'm like,
If you want to be a cheap ass, you can do this one.
wait a second. Like my favorite thing was I'm like, okay, so lay this out straight for me. If we do nothing, what's the consequences? And they're like, that knee joint is probably going to start going bad in like 3 to 5 years. I'm like, arthritis and stuff. And they're like, yeah, it's going to be pretty painful 3 to 5 years. I'm like, okay. I go, we do the surgery and she's down for 18 months. What do we got? And they're like, they'll be good for like 5 to 8 years. I'm like, wait. So the knee's going to go bad in like 5 to 8 years? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, and if we do nothing, it goes bad 3 to 5 years. And they're like, yes. I'm like, so they both hit 5 years, right? Like, possibly both of them. They're like, oh, yeah, for sure. Like, you don't even know if the surgery will help because they both could be at 5 years either way. I'm like that. I go, I guess I'm confused. Like, why the 5 years? And they're like, to make it worse, the other knee normally blows like in a year.
Yeah.
I'm like, without the surgery, the other knee blows? They're like, nope, with it.
Oh, that's job security.
I know. I was like, okay. So either way, the dog's legs are like going to be screwed. And they're like, oh, yeah, for sure. And she's young. So, she'll probably live like 15 years. So, you might have to do like other stuff then. And I'm like, I go, why wouldn't I just give her medicine, like painkillers her whole life then? Like, well, yeah, you can do that too. I'm like, all right, well, I go, you're like less than zero help. Like, you've just made it more confusing.
Yeah.
So like, well, here's a whole packet on all the different surgeries you can choose. I'm like, oh, great. And I read
Is
them
this
all.
soft enough to wipe with? Oh.
No, it was not. I thought about it. So she's still living her best life. And we still haven't done surgery, and that was like a month ago. So
I can't wait to meet her. I'm so excited.
She's pretty darn fun. You'll enjoy her. It'll take her probably a couple hours to warm up to you. She's scared of everybody, it seems like at first. So
okay, good.
But yeah, it's good. It's good. So, and it's beautiful. Right now it's not beautiful out, but in general it's beautiful weather. And, spring is a good time. I like the spring. It's kind of nice. Like, I was thinking the other day, I'm like outside. I'm like, I love this weather. And I'm like, it's cold. It's like it's the winter. And then I'm like, and now it's like fall. And then I'm like, you know what? I just like life.
Yep.
I'm like, as long as I have life, I'm pretty good.
It is better than the alternative.
It seems.
It seems. Yeah. I mean, we don't know.
Don't really know.
This is my hologram. I can do whatever I want.
Oh my gosh, my daughter the other day. I forget. She was having like a bad day. I forget like what happened, but it was like 3 things in a row. And she's like, and I don't know which person is running this damn simulation, but this is not how it's supposed to be going. I was like, bah! She goes, I was talking to my friend and she had a whole bunch. And we're like, see, someone is screwing the programming up right now. She goes, but then it all reset. It was things like her roommate like goes to do her final and her computer doesn't turn on. And
just so, like, what? Like, how could that even happen?
Yeah, and she's like, what is going on? And so she's like troubleshooting it. She's like freaking out. She spends like 2 or 3 hours trying to get it to turn on and like nothing works. And she's like, ah! And she hits the on button and it turns on.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, and my daughter had like a similar thing where she was like trying to do something and like nothing would happen. And then all of a sudden it was like, whoop, and it worked. And she's like, I'm like, she's like, that stupid simulation was glitching. I'm like,
that's awesome.
I'm like, oh, that's my girl. That's my girl.
The world is a simulation. Wasn't even on our radar when we were that age. So that's awesome.
And they're literally talking about it. Like, I'm like, nice job. There was something recently I actually read, speaking of that was talking about like gravity and stuff, as they're finding the gravitons and all of this thing. And they're like, gravity is easily explained if you realize that it's a simulation.
even Deepak Chopra. I mean, I've talked about Deepak a couple times, but he's like leaning heavily into the simulation, and you're in charge of your simulation, and you like it's been wild. It's a wild
the gravity thing was like, if you are,
I saw that same.
Did you see
article.
it? Like they're like, if you're trying to program it, this is how you would program it to make everything work. They're like, so it's probably just the program, because that's the only reason it would exist the way it exists, is if you're trying to do it. And I'm like, thank you for the whiskey.
Yep. That's awesome.
So funny all the time. So tomorrow, is the goal just to sell one car, or you're going to like up it now to two?
No, I'd like, if I could do like one multiple days in a row, then I might switch it to two. I think one's a great goal. Although the customers that I had that morning, I was like, oh, am I going to get two today? Like, I was like, okay.
Nice.
Like, because they had, like I said, they had to go and fix that part. And then the wife wrote, and she's like, there's been a lot of cussing and stuff like that. Like, we're not sure if we're going to make it today. So I was like, oh, man.
Darn it.
That's sweet.
Sometimes that happens, right?
Yeah.
Which is okay. That's why.
So I think one a day is a good goal, and then if I, once I start getting to like one where one is happening normal, like where one is just normal, like okay, I need to bump this to two.
Well, and you did use. So the big question is when are you going to do a new one?
Yeah, I'm not getting new leads, but I've talked to people who are looking at new.
That would be cool.
Yeah, the new is cool. Obviously, like I think that people expect you to know more. Although when they don't, I'm newer here.
Yeah.
Like this is what I know. If they ask me a question I don't know, I just hit my Chat GPT and I ask, and I'm like, this is the answer.
Yeah, nice.
And then we move on.
Well, the nice thing is as long as they're not repeat customers, you can use the I'm new line for like forever.
Yeah. Well, eventually I'd like to know, all that, but I've never been the fact guy. Like I can get some really cool facts down and, things like that. But when, people start, oh, what's the horsepower on this one? And what's the horsepower on this one? Like, I'll look that up. That's not me.
My brother this weekend. What engine was in that Oldsmobile the year you graduated? I'm like, it had a good transmission.
It was a 3800 that was in that old Oldsmobile. That's for sure.
I'm like 451, like
because they had that motor forever. They ran so great.
Oh god, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. He goes, it had like a weird number because it was one of those was his Oldsmobile first. And I'm like,
oh wait, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't care about the engine then, and I still don't. Like it ran through lots of curves. I couldn't ruin it. Like it was pretty solid.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing too that I'm working even more on developing like instant friendship with people.
Yeah.
To where when they ask questions like that, it's not that big of a deal because it's just friends talking.
Right.
Because I like to think that that's happening sooner, and like I'm learning, which comes across naturally for both of us. Like you're even better at it than I am, but it's something that I feel that I'm very good at. Well, I'm more outgoing than you, but once people start talking, they'll tell you their whole life story.
That is truth. That is still the case. That is not changed.
Yeah.
I have to keep a damper on it most of the time.
Yeah.
One day we'll have to tell the story, people, when I accidentally don't turn that off. So
it's hilarious.
Stories for sure. I think it's because like I make eye contact and I like actually listen, and so they want to like talk, like they need to get that stuff off their chest, and I forget that I need to like break eye contact and like like I'm actually not interested. This is all like a facade.
Like when I first started doing shows, that I noticed it like people would buy because I had a genuine smile.
Yes.
I had a genuine hello. How are you doing? Hey, come look at this. Like, it was kind of that too, but it was all genuine. Like,
yes.
I wanted to show them what was going on. And people, if you listen to people and I was talking to them and I was friendly, and they would just give me their $20 because they had a good time standing in front of my booth for 5 minutes.
I tell people all the time, they're not buying candy, they're not buying sheets. They're buying you. So
yeah.
You gotta sell
Same
yourself.
idea. Same idea. Only it's a little bit bigger scale.
Yes.
People are financing me.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not saying, oh, you gotta finance it. Though I did think that today. I got a thing from a credit union today that was like, hey, you should go buy a car or refinance your car. Here's our interest rates, blah, blah, blah. And I was like looking at it and I was like, you know what? I don't know when I'm going to buy a new car again, right? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
But I'm like, I think I would like, it'd be interesting because I think we'll have an argument. But I'm like, I think I'd just like to pay for the car. Like, I don't think I want to do a loan. I think I just want to buy it this time. So
I guess it would depend on what the rates come back at.
yeah, well, that's it. Like,
really?
What are the rates? Or like what we always get in an argument about is like being liquid is kind of nice. Like there's peace when you're liquid.
Yeah.
So do you want to blow through your capital when you can just be liquid instead?
Yeah. Like if it's a incentive going on,
oh, no,
say the vehicle is $50K.
That's
Oops. So say the vehicle is $50K. Brian, not listen. He's had to hold up for me a couple times. So the vehicle's $50K. You have all $50K in the bank, and they're offering you an interest rate of 1.9.
Right.
Whatever, or 2.9. So you throw it in you keep that money in your account that's getting 5%. You can just pay that, and you're making more money with that money than you are if you were to just pay cash for it, which makes sense.
And in this case, the credit union was offering, I think, 6.2%.
Okay. So you just have to buy some Bitcoin then.
I'm like, yeah, that's a no. Not that I need a vehicle right now, but I'm like,
yeah. Well, you just got new to you recently. Is that even a year old, that truck?
No, I don't. It's just over a year. And like now that like we got a car for Brenna, so she's out, right? Like, and we like that one we just paid cash for, but now we have, like, I've got my van back, so the truck is parked unless I need to do work, and then I've got the van.
Okay.
So, like when you're driving that way, like the odds of you running out of a car are much slimmer. So, and they're lasting pretty well, like knock on wood. Like Amy's Jeep is a 2016. I'm like, man, we're almost to the 10-year mark. Like,
that Jeep's awesome too.
That seems like a long time to me that it's gone 10 years. But they seem to be lasting that long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas it feels like, you know, that Delta 88, by 98, we were crushing it.
Yeah. That's true. So it was funny. I talked to a guy this weekend. He was looking for a car under $8,000 because his daughter totaled hers and totaled her brother's within a 6-month period. And he's like, so I don't want to spend a lot for her because she's graduating from high school and she's gonna be going off to college. And I was like, I could say, like, we had a Volvo on the lot. I was like, listen, this is super safe car. It's under $8,000. This is probably what you want to get for her. Like, I was surprised. Like, as a father, like, I don't know. It totaled one, like, depending on the circumstances, okay, you know, whatever. But you get a second total and you're not graduated from high school yet.
The insurance alone isn't worth it. Like, that insurance is just stupid.
Like, here's a bus pass.
Here's a bus pass. Enjoy. Call an Uber. The Uber's going to be cheaper.
I was going to say, if you put $8,000 on an Uber card, it's quite a while that you have. And I mean, when Gary Vee was talking about that, this was many years ago, but look at 10 years, 20 years ago, the idea of putting your kids in a stranger's car, but now it's just like, okay, rather than buying them a new car, like, just call Uber.
Right? And it depends where you live. Like, if you're
Yeah.
in the greater Charlotte area, you've got public transportation for everything.
Not as good as other places, but yeah.
Yeah, but it exists. Like, you don't need a
Mm-hmm.
car. Like,
Mm-hmm.
rich people problems right there. Rich people
Yeah,
problems.
exactly.
But you know what? We'll take your money.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah. Well, people, we have gone extra long today. So we
Uh-oh.
want to thank you for joining us. We appreciate you listening to us ramble. We love
Yep.
you guys. And this is Ballbuster signing off.
Kilted Dragon Jerry, love you all.